So you're thinking about running, but not sure how to take the first step. My name is Brian Patterson, and I'm here to help. Welcome to Brian's Run Pod. Welcome back to Brian's Run Pod, and it's me, your host, Brian Patterson, back with you to give you some hints and tips about running. Well, this week we talk about cross-training for runners, why it's important, what is it, and why we should do it. Last but not least, some advice on how you can replicate your running sessions with cross-training. Also, we'll continue our series of looking at specific running events at the Olympic Games. So why is it important? Now, we all are keen runners. And if you are listening to this podcast, you may be starting out on your journey into getting into running. Now, as I've said before, running is a brilliant exercise for the heart and lungs. However, there are some downsides to running. It does impact on your joints more than other aerobic exercises. So there may come a point, if you're running quite regularly, that you might encounter injury, like myself at the moment. Many runners will benefit from including cross-training in their weekly training, as cross-training will improve aerobic fitness while reducing your risk of injury, both of which will help you run better and for longer. So what is it? I know it's kind of stating the obvious. While the term is used broadly, cross-training means a type of exercise that you can substitute for running. By this definition, cross-training is a type of exercise that improves your aerobic fitness, things like spinning, swimming, and so on. And some forms of cross-training mimic the motions of running, such as an elliptical or hiking, while others do not, such as swimming. However, you can walk up and down the pool, and this takes the impact away from the legs. While weightlifting and yoga or even Pilates are valuable for staying healthy and strong as a runner, they do not quite count as cross-training. Rather, think of strength training and mobility as supplemental workouts. They supplement your running rather than serving as an alternative workout that trains the same physiological systems. So what are the benefits? The most significant benefit for cross-training for runners is injury risk reduction. The primary causes of injury for runners included muscular imbalances, biomechanical irregularities, overuse and overtraining. Biomechanical irregularities are quirks in your running form, overpronation, supination, uneven hips, and similar issues that make you a bit more prone to injury. Cross-training offers help for all those issues by moving your body in a different motion than running, so you can strengthen your muscles, smooth out the imbalances, and by reducing the number of miles you run, you can reduce the overall impact on your muscle, joints, and bones. Cross-training can also help maintain fitness when injured. So if you are injured and unable to run for a few weeks, cross-training provides an alternative to staying fit as a rehabilitate your injury. Cross-training can maintain and even improve your level of fitness during your time off. Just because you are injured, it means you don't have to stop doing exercise. So what type of cross-training you do when injured is based on the nature of your injury. Injuries such as stress fractures will limit the type of exercise activities you can do, while you may have more options for injuries such as sprains, strains, and tendinitis. Be sure to speak to your physical therapist or doctor about which types of cross-training you can safely do as you recover from injury, or even a personal trainer. Probably I think I would talk to the personal trainer, as they have a sort of a bit more experience. Cross-training can build aerobic fitness, as I said. New runners will benefit from regular cross-training. Your muscles, joints, and ligaments and bones can take up to 6 months to adapt to the impact of running. So you do not want to increase your mileage too quickly. Cross-training can also help non-running days and can help build that aerobic fitness and strengthen your body for the specific demands of running. Now, we will look at specific programs later in the podcast. Cross-training is one of the best ways to add volume to your program while minimizing your risk of injury. Essentially, cross-training can act as a protective and preventative measure against injuries by reducing the impact and forces on your muscles, as I've said, joints, bones and tendons, and ligaments, adding variation to the repetitive stress imposed by running and corrective muscle imbalances caused by running by strengthening opposing muscles. Aerobic cross-training activities such as cycling, elliptical trainers, jumping rope, and rollerblading can also improve cardiovascular fitness, which can boost your running performance. So when should we do it? Cross-training should supplement running, not replace it if you are doing it in conjunction with your running, and begin with how many days per week you can safely run, which may be in the range of 3 to 5 days per week. Schedule one day as a complete rest day and then fill in the remaining days for preferred cross-training and strength training supplementary workouts. Now, I understand that this might be a schedule for someone who is running regularly or is pretty much on the intermediate to advanced level. However, even if you just ran once or twice a week, then try incorporating other forms of cross-training or other forms of supplemental training. For instance, one of my earliest guests, Anna Cooper, which is in our Christmas episode, said that she did Pilates once a week in addition to her running, and she felt that really helped her running, especially with the core. Now, I know, strictly speaking, this is not cross-training, but the principle is there in that she added something else to her training. So what are the different options? We did sort of skate over this. Swimming, if you're looking to improve your breath workout when you're running, adding in a more regular swim session could be just the thing you need to become more in tune with your breathing. Swimming has many benefits, including improving your lung capacity and adding with your recovery, as well as being very low impact compared to running. It provides a good aerobic workout, but because you're not using the same movement patterns as running, it doesn't provide as much specificity as training stimulus as something like cycling or hiking would. You could consider pool running or aqua jogging instead. It's not weight bearing, and the resistance of the water provides a great workout. I mean, if you're doing triathlon, then obviously swimming, you're going to be doing that anyway. So even if you are injured with your running, then you may want to increase the volume of your swimming workouts or cycling. Since you're in the water, swimming has no impact on the joints and therefore is one of the best options for injured runners. And you may need to take special precautions about kicking with some lower leg injuries, but using a prop like a buoy can help you problem solve. Where you may need access to a pool, but swimming will always provide an effective cardio workout without as much wear and tear. Hiking, although it may seem surprising, walking or hiking can be a great way to build your endurance. After all, it's all still time on your feet, just as much slower pace. There's a particularly good alternative to running if you are an ultramarathon race on the horizon. Building in some regular hikes might be the way to build up your endurance while taking on the views a bit more of a gentle pace than your regular runs. And this can be a great benefit to your mental health if you prefer something that gets your heart rate up a little higher. Speed walking, increasing the pace could be different enough to your running training while still building your endurance and mixing up your routine. Or add some hilly walks in, as hills will always get your heart pumping a bit faster, just to make sure you've got a good pair of walking shoes. Rowing. Now, I know I always think the best to get someone to show you how to do proper technique on how to row. As if you're getting over an injury, you won't want to get another injury if you're doing if you're not getting proper technique on the machine. So probably get, let's say, someone who is a instructor, fitness instructor, or a personal trainer that can show you the best technique for rowing. Cycling, whether you prefer the road or opt for a mountain bike, cycling provides a fantastic cardio workout without any impact. For runners, pedaling will also help you improve your cadence. Cycling is also simple to incorporate into your training plan, especially if you can bike to and from work a few days per week. And cycling is also a great indoor activity, whether you pick up the recumbent bike or opt for a spin class. The elliptical trainer. Now, the elliptical trainer or cross trainer is a great piece of kit. So the elliptical trainer was literally invented to mimic the motions of running without producing the same kind of impact forces that running generates. And that means you're going to get more running specific cross-training workout than you would by swimming or cycling. On the turbo trainer, for example, but without all the weight bearing and muscle pounding that running entails. What the cross trainer does is take out the eccentric contraction, the moment when you land, and prevent your body from collapsing, says Ian Klein, a specialist in exercise physiology and injury prevention from the Ohio University in the US. That's an integral part of running, and so you do need that in-aim training. But if you get too much of it, if your muscles can fatigue and break down under a lot of stress, which can lead to injury. The cross-trainer also cuts off the push-off phase of the gait cycle, which is part of the process of running. Because your feet never leave the pedals, Juan Delgado, a director of sports science at the New York Sports Science Lab in New York, doesn't believe that this is a bad thing. When you're running, the tibialis anterior muscles, which are responsible for the dorsal flexion of the feet, are almost under maximum tension, which makes them more susceptible to overuse and increase your risk of shin splints and stress fractures. But when your feet maintain contact with the cross-trainer pedals, these muscles will have a better isokinetic and isometric contractions and can reach maximum tension without becoming stronger without the impact of lift-off and heel strike motion, says Delgado. The cross-trainer also offers more of a complete workout as it recruits both the upper and lower body with its pendulum motion. By using your body weight as a resistance, it becomes an excellent way to prepare your body for the rigors of regular running, such as the muscles engaged in running can be stronger and more accustomed to carrying your body weight without the impact of hitting the floor constantly, says Delgado. As such, this helps to reduce your injury risk, a huge win for runners. So why use them? If I'm not said the obvious, they're low impact. Working out on a cross trainer is a low impact activity, so it will feel easier than a run of a similar intensity. To combat this, use a cross trainer for 1.5 to 2 times the duration of your run. So, for example, a 30-minute run would be equivalent to a 45-minute to an hour session on the cross trainer. Great for recovery. Spending time on the cross trainer can be helpful on recovery days, especially if you have a rough time running at a recovery pace or less than 70% of your maximum heart rate. So it's actually quite hard to get your heart rate up on the cross trainer without maxing out on resistance, which means you'll stay in an easy low intensity zone and you need to reap the rewards for a recovery workout. Cross trainers are less taxing on your joints. Obviously, they use a cross trainer to improve blood flow to your muscles without causing the muscle fiber damage that running does. So it could help to speed up your recovery time between hard running sessions and allow you to complete these days at a higher intensity, resulting in greater running performance gains. Might be a bit obvious, and that's why you should always do your key workouts like speed workout, tempo runs and race pace as effective as running efforts, says Ian Klein. No matter how closely the cross trainer was designed to mimic running, anyone who has ever stepped on one knows it's not the perfect substitute. Consider it a valuable tool in your arsenal, especially on days when you need to slow things down or recover, but not as a replacement to running. So if you are doing it in conjunction with your running training and you're not injured, then it's more of a recovery tool.
Let's take a quick break.
Just a short break to tell you about some exciting news. We have a new feature on the podcast. You can now send me a message. Yep, you heard it right. Brian's Run Pod has become interactive with the audience. If you look at the top of the episode description, tap on Send Us a Text Message. You can tell me what you think of the episode or alternatively, what you would like covered. If you're lucky, I might even read them out on the podcast. Now, back to the podcast. So the best advice for replicating running sessions. So regular running. Now, if you normally go out for 30 minutes on a Tuesday and then do 30 minutes on the bike, then do 30 minutes on the bike or 30 minutes on a cross trainer, again with intensity, keeping that nice and low, and the same sort of thing you'll be doing with your running. And I would not gauge your intensity using the heart rate monitor, as you cannot compare two different exercises. So it's basically a gauge on how you feel. With interval running, Ben Parks, who's a YouTuber and an influencer, does a really good video about this on cross training. I will leave a link on the show notes. Anyway, he says that if you normally do intervals, he recommends using the rowing machine or stepper, or even on the cross trainer. There are hill programs to help raise your intensity workout, although we have said that the cross trainer would be good for the recovery runs. And I think the main focus here is just to keep the intensity high and you're effectively maintaining your fitness level as you could help raise it. Ben emphasizes the importance of replicating what you would normally do with your running routine. He says, just do your best to replicate what you would normally be doing with your running. For him, the best tools have been his bike, cross trainer, Concept 2 rowing machine, the stepper, especially for those high intensity sessions. He says, if you're thinking about adding some cross training to your routine, Ben recommends starting out nice and slow. Remember, when you first started running, you don't go out and try and do a marathon on the first day. The same principle applies to cross training. Just ease into it gently. A few excellent points. Spend 30 minutes on the bike, 30 minutes in the swimming pool, or 30 minutes lifting weights and doing some sort of resistance training. So that's a good workout. And incorporate this once or twice a week can help build a solid foundation. And for those of you who might not enjoy speed work during your runs, you can mimic that intensity with your cross-training sessions. But here's a key takeaway from Ben. For the first few weeks, keep your heart rate nice and low. Gradually, you can start adding more intensity as you get more comfortable. So there you have it, some really solid advice from Ben Parks. As I said, I will leave a link in the show notes. So in summary, and basically, I'll just summarize what we've just said about cross-training. And if you like me and you understand the joys and benefits of running for your heart and lungs, but let's face it, as I said, running can be tough on the joints, leading to the potential injuries down the road. And that's where cross-training comes in. Cross-training isn't just about mixing up your workouts. It's about incorporating exercises that complement your running routine or reducing the risk of injury. Think of it as a way to strengthen your muscles, improving your aerobic fitness, and give your joints a break from the repetitive impact of running. But why should you bother with cross-training? Well, the benefits are numerous, as I've said. First and foremost, it helps reduce the risk of injury by adding muscular imbalances, addressing muscular imbalances, biomechanical irregularities. Plus, if you do find yourself sidelined with injury, cross-training can help maintain your fitness level and aid rehabilitation. For new runners, cross-training is especially valuable as it allows your body to adapt gradually to the demands of running while building strength and endurance. And for those looking to add volume to their training program, cross-training is a game changer, offering a protective measure against those overuse injuries. Now, when you should incorporate cross-training, we talked about this, it should be a supplement to your running, not replace it. Aim for 3 to 5 days of running per week, or even if they do 2 to 3 days, with cross-training on your non-running days. And even if you're just starting out with running, adding in some cross-training can spice up your workout and prevent burnout. So what are your options when it comes to cross-training? We've looked at swimming, fantastic for improving your breath workout, lung capacity, while hiking improves low-impact way to build endurance. And let's not forget about cycling, rowing, and using elliptical machine, all of which offer excellent cardiovascular benefits without the strain on your joints. When it comes to replicating your running sessions, the key is to match the intensity and duration of your workouts. Whether you're doing regular runs or interval training, there's a cross-training option for you. Just remember to start slow, listen to your body, and gradually increase the intensity as you go. So there you have it, folks. Cross-training isn't just a nice addition to your running routine. It's essential for staying injury-free and reaching your full potential as a runner. whether you're hitting the pool, hopping on the bike, or gliding or elliptical trainer, cross training has got you covered. So all I can say is I hope I've given you some good advice. Next, we're going to be looking at an event, a running event at the Olympic Games. Well, welcome back to our series looking at running events at the Olympics. Today we're looking at the 800 metres. The 800 metres at the Summer Olympics has been contested since the first edition of the multi-sport event. The men's 800 metres has been present on the Olympic athletics programme since 1896. The women's event was first held in 1928, making it the first distance running event for women. However, it was not held again until 1960, which was won by Lyudmila Shevtsova from the USSR, since when it has been a permanent fixture. It is the most prestigious 800-metre race at elite level. The competition format typically has 3 rounds, a qualifying round, semi-final stage, and a final between 8 runners. The Olympic records are held by David Rashida from Kenya, who ran a world record of 1 minute 40.91 in 2012, and Nadia Olazarenko, also from the USSR, who ran a former world record of 153.43 in 1980. Olazarenko's mark is the joint longest standing women's Olympic record, typically set 3 days after Ilona Slepanek's from East Germany's shot put record, and the joint second longest after the men's long jump record by Bob Beamon. Her time remains the second fastest ever for the event. The 800 metres world record has been broken or equalled 10 times at the Olympics. The men's record was broken in 1912, 1932, 1968, 1976 and 2012. The women's record was improved in 1928, 1960, 1964, 1976 and 1980. 4 men have won the 800 metre titles. Douglas Lowe, 1924 and 1928, Mal Whitfield, 1948 to 1952, Peter Snell, 1960 and 1964, and David Rashida, 2012 to 2016. When I mean not just 4 men have won the Olympic 800 metre title, I mean 4 men have done the double in subsequent Olympics. Only Caster Semenya, 2012 and 2016, has won the women's title race twice in consecutive Olympics. Maria Matola and Kelly Holmes and Pamela Gelimio have won gold and reached the podium twice. No athlete of either sex has won more than 2 medals. Historically, athletes in this event have also been successful at the 1500 metres at the Olympics. Holmes was the last athlete to win both events at the same Olympics in 2004. Kelly Holmes from Great Britain. In 2012, 1500 metre gold medalist Tafwik Malufi made both podiums without winning gold in 2016. Alberta Juantorina from Cuba in 1966 also won the 400 metres gold medal in the same Olympics. Only 3 other men and 1 woman have been able to get a medal in both events. The United States is the most successful nation, having won 9 gold medals and a total of 24 medals, followed by Great Britain with 8 gold medals and 12 medals overall. And Kenya was 6 golds and among its 15 medals. Well, I hope that I did those names justice. And if I do apologise if I did get them wrong. But anyway, thanks for listening to our look at a running event in the Olympics. And next week, we'll be looking at another running event in the Olympics. And that's a wrap for another exhilarating episode of Brian's Run Pod. Thanks for tuning in, folks. As always, we've got your back with all things running. And next week, get ready for some awesome beginner hints and tips to kickstart your running journey. Oh, and before we sign off, exciting news. We're now available on YouTube. So whether you're pounding the pavement or chilling at home, you can catch us there too. Plus, we have a new feature on the podcast. You can now send me a message. Yep, you heard it right. Brian's Run Pod has become interactive with the audience. If you look at the top of the episode description, tap on send us a text message. You can tell me what you think of the episode or alternatively, what you would like covered. If you're lucky, I might even read them out on the podcast. Hey, if you want to keep up with the latest updates, behind the scenes fun, and even some exclusive content, make sure to follow me on social media. You can find me on Twitter, or should I say X, at Brian's Run Pod. We've also just launched a shiny new Facebook page. Simply search for Brian's Run Pod and give us a like. And don't forget to hop on over to Instagram where you can catch all our visual adventures at Brian's Run Pod. For those of you who love diving deep into the episodes, head over to our website, www.briansrunpod.co.uk, and there you'll find detailed show notes, handy chapter markers, make it too easy to navigate through our favourite discussions. Please leave a review as it will always help others find this podcast. Music is by Happy Days by Stock Audio, not forgetting artwork by Alice Patterson. Till next week, thanks again for listening.